Paul's here again. We're going to be talking about UHF radios today. Just a couple of quick basic questions or tips. Tip 1, try and buy a tradie spec UHF handheld radio if you need to buy a handheld, or buy a mobile unit if you can afford it. But when you're getting into full drive and getting in outdoors, you want to communicate with your friends or for work, get a tradie spec one. They're just built a little bit better. Have a water resistant, dust resistant outside on it and all the little covers on it, and they're just built a little bit better, and they're usually a 5 watt. Some of them are 3 watt, but this is a 5 watt Newton. It comes out of a tradie pack, which is handy if you and a friend want to share costs, and you buy a tradie pack. That way you get 2 handheld radios, some chargers, your batteries, external mics, all those little extras that you like, and it all packs away in a little case, which we'll show you. Handy thing about these 5 watters is it's a lot cheaper, especially if 2 of you buy one or 2 of you buy a tradie pack. It's a cheaper way to get a UHF into your car when you're getting into full driving and camping in the outdoors without having to sacrifice $600 for a UHF radio, pay someone to install it, and you don't have to know too much about them. The handy thing about these radios is they're a 5 watt, which means you've got a bit more range. When it comes to aerials, short stubby aerials, a generalised comment, short stubby aerial is a wider projection for your signal. A tall aerial is a narrower band. So both of those scenarios suit different situations. So short is handy if the radio is on the side, in your pocket, on an angle, or you're in hilly terrain and the other person is up the hill and you're down the hill and you're holding the radio like this. Obviously a wider projection of your signal will reach them. If you have a tall aerial and a narrow projection of your signal, obviously that's going to cause problems if you're in hilly terrain, but it's going to be better when you're touring and you're on more open country. Basics on the radio: the on-off button, it's on channel 40. That's the truckie channel around Australia, so it's handy to have that on. And if you're looking for traffic warnings and you're in hilly terrain, you just want to make sure you're on an area that you're not sure about, and you just want to keep an eye on the traffic, any accidents ahead, any roadworks you need to be worried about, anything like that, or road conditions. You can ask for a road report on the radio, be polite about it, and usually someone else will respond and give you an answer. We'll change it down a channel, and what we'll do is we'll just turn up the signal a bit there, so if someone does respond, we can respond back, but we're not cluttering up a popular channel like the truckie channel. So to use a UHF radio, it's very simple. Hold the trigger button down to speak into the radio, and finish your conversation, then release. The benefit of doing that is you'll have the whole signal and the whole conversation projected to your mate, not half of it. Make sure you speak clearly into the microphone. On this, it's got the microphone clearly marked, and you just need to make sure you speak clearly and into the mic. Problem is, a lot of the time we don't hold the radio correctly. We've got our finger over the mic, and that can be part of our major issues and not the reception. So always make sure you hold the mic hold the radio so that the mic is actually sitting there correctly, and you might actually be able to hear each other. Obviously, don't expect these to have huge range. You can't expect it to have 20-kilometer range. You know, it's really more beneficial for in convoy or when you're doing recoveries. Very handy for when you're doing recoveries, because you're not having to yell. You've got clear communication. The person instructing the driver of the vehicle that's standing outside can clearly say, hey, drivers, passenger, slow, fast, inch forward, all those sort of communications. And that way you'll enjoy using your radio and you won't want to throw it at your mate. One thing that you should probably know about: most of these belt clips on every brand don't seem to be the best when you're in big physical activity, you're climbing or anything like that, as they only can stand up to so much physical movement before the clip will release. and I've lost one of these very quickly and easily by relying on that clip. So I tend to these days, after that happening, I choose to not even use the clip. I put the radio in my pocket, or I clip it in my pocket, and then I use the external mic, and that way I've got less chance of it falling on the ground and someone else picking it up and not getting it back, or me just losing it or damaging it. Simple. I know if I've done it, someone else has done it. So the basics. I'll go through things like emergency channels, how to use repeater stations, that sort of thing on other videos, but hopefully this has helped and shown you that there's an affordable way to get a decent signal out of your full drive or campsite without having to buy a large mobile unit or a unit that mounts permanently in your car. Any questions, any ideas, any suggestions, post them below. Hopefully that helps. I know this might have been a little bit boring for some people, but it helps us all get into using these radios and know the basics. Enjoy everyone, get out there in the outdoors and enjoy some camping.